Hi all, right, welcome back. In action Kharkov, German solo, part 19. Yeah, and I know it's part 19 because I've just not long finished watching the end of part 18, so I've caught up. I had a trip to my mum's today. She's in Edinburgh where I moved from, so it's a good hour or so away. But I decided to get the train today, so I was able to sit on the train and watch some video footage, train and a bus. So caught up with everything. Um, Not an awful lot of comments apart from the very last few minutes actually. Well, I don't know what, maybe the last 5-10 minutes of part 18. Just when I noticed things looked like they went a bit, well, quite interesting actually. Now I'm not fully sure of this. I've made a comment. There's a big comment in the header about it. But it looks like this one could be quite interesting, unless I'm maybe just looking at it wrong and whatever. So we'll get around to that in a second. Anything else? Yeah, I had a couple of comments from Eric. He was nice to see. He was confirming that he's been playing 9.25 the same way as I'm doing it. So that's comforting to know that, and like I say, not had any comments saying that anything going wrong with that. He also commented on, yeah, my choice of exclusively the front, which VP to target, and yeah, I mean he goes through if you read it literally, what does it say? Um, Adjacent to German VP hex. It doesn't start saying it. It's only within the preference it talks about targeted exclusively by active front. So yeah, I think sometimes I get tied up with that and I see it and kind of. I guess my reply to him was that this is the first occurrence of a front being sort of like directed to a specific front. That the fact this is a dual front, and this is exclusively for Donets, this is exclusively for Southwest. It's the first sort of me seeing that. But yeah, I mean, I should have come round. But again, also good to hear somebody saying that, yeah, that's how it should be. So thanks for that, Eric. Um, Anything else? I don't think so. Like I say, I got. Well, John Brown commented backing up Martin's thoughts on you would classify this as zero strength being less than 5 strength, and that, I suppose that's how I initially thought of it. I guess again it was just the fact that it said occupied, and that when I looked back on that I thought, oh wait now, occupied, wait now, panic. um, so, and then the movement arrows one, yeah, I don't think there was any follow up to that. Or did John mention something about that as well? No, I don't think so. Um, yeah, it was kind of different from Enemy Action Ardennes, I think. But Martin says that that's how you do it, and we did come to the conclusion in Enemy Action Ardennes that you just mixed and matched. But I'm sure, Martin, did you not have to try and state it for the primary arrows? I'm sure you did. I'm sure you had to, and it's because we've got all these preferences now within the new game, Kharkov. You didn't have that before. I very much doubt you had that. It was always a couple of conditions that you were trying to avoid. Obviously not spending all your movement, and I think there's a bit more to it. But anyway, that's fine. I like your response, and that's what I'm going to do from now on, unless again we hear otherwise. Not heard from Mr. Butterfield for a while, so you never know. Things could come along and we could be told differently with these. But yeah, okay. So yeah, this situation up here then. Now I want to keep the front marker. Sorry, not the front marker, because I've got an army marker, and everything was fine. Everything was fine until these last, I'm pretty sure it's these last 2 units. No. It's Unit 4 and Unit 3. And they moved with this new method that we've not, that we hadn't experienced, because remember we're doing army objective movement methods, and it was movement method 3 of theirs, which is closer to German unit and army objective. Move towards German unit, closest to active army objective. And yes, this is the closest German unit. He's 1, 2, 3 away. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 away. This is 4 away. So this is 3 away. So that is our target. And however, right at the end there, when I'm trying to move units 3 and 4 with this method, is it just 3 and 4 that move with that method then? I'm going to just check the video footage here and go through this bit at the end, because I'm quite curious to see how this ends up actually, so give me a sec. Okay, so here's the situation, and it's about the 48 and a half minute mark that I start moving into this next step, action step 3, and I'll explain what's going on here. Right, this unit had moved already. He was able to move with, I don't know, it must have been movement method 2, I think, adjacent to German unit, same as front. Yeah, so we're not interested in him. I've moved these 2 units back into the hexes that they were in. Now, you wonder what the 3 and the 4 is. This 4 is where I decide unit 4 moves to, and the 3 is where unit 3, and I'm just going selector numbers there again. So that's where I end up with them. Now, all these moves are in descending order, so looking at unit 4 to start with. So let's just see. So we're trying to get as close as possible to this German unit, right? So where can unit 4 reach that's close as possible? I want to say it's these 2 hexes here, but let me have a look. Yeah, so that's where I decide the 2 possible options. This guy can go 1, 2, 3, 4 into there, or 4 into there. And that's as close as he can get to this unit. Remember, this is what we're looking at the moment. And he's 1, 2, 3 away there, 1, 2, 3 away there. Okay, so that's fine. That is, up to now we're fine. So, but then what I do is, now, okay, both these hexes are going to be adjacent to this German unit, but what I've been doing is looking at that. If there's more than one option, tie break it first, right? Which, it's not really going to matter, because whichever one it tie breaks to, we're then going to have to look at 9.25 and see. But right, we'll just go with the way we're doing it. So we tie break between the 2, but this is where I mess things up. And I think I get away with the unit 4 one. I think I've said that in my, but let's just double check, because tiebreaker 8 is closest to the unit's objective marker, and within the video I lose control here. And I decide that this is, well, I don't say it's our objective marker, to be honest, but I just say that, yeah, because I think with this being a new movement method that we're doing here, it's thrown me, and I'm saying, right, we're both the same distance away from this. But that's not what the tiebreaker's asking. The tiebreaker's asking closest to the unit's objective marker, which is back here, right? So, as you can clearly see, that this is going to be 1 hex closer, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whereas this is 6 away, obviously. So that tiebreaker A clears that. However, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at being close to this, so I have to check this and say, right, well, where do we end up moving to? I mean, it ends up moving to this one, unfortunately, because it's the next choice is B, empty hex. They're not, neither the hexes are empty, and then preference C is furthest in objective compass direction, which ends up being here. So it does end up hitting the right hex, but not for the right reasons, if you know what I mean. So that's where that ends up. So I'll just leave the, no, we can move the unit into there, right? And then just take these out of the way. And then obviously still moving adjacent to this. We've still got 2 possible hexes that it could have been adjacent to the German unit. So we zoom back in on that and say, is it going to adjust with 9.25? I don't know, I keep looking over these, but it's just because it's such a thing with this, I want to do it this way, and that's it. Not occupied but adjacent to, right, empty, no, not occupied by active unit. Right, hang on, what am I missing there? Because, yeah, no, sorry. Both of the options would be, there'd be, they're both, hang on, wait now. Yeah, I just had to open the rulebook up there again. It was just like, yeah, a hex not occupied by an active unit. Well, this hex is not occupied by an active unit, right? But however, the hex that he's moving into is not occupied by an active unit as well. So we can't resolve it with 9.25. And we've already tiebreak between the two, so we don't really need to go back to tiebreakers because it's going to be this hex. So that is that resolved. So we make a mistake there, but we hit the right hex, okay? Now, I thought the same thing was going to happen here, and I thought I was just going to have to put a comment saying something similar. However, the way I've looked at it, now, I've only just looked at it recently, and it was quite quickly at the end. I was just finishing my train journey actually, and I thought, oh right, and I was like, where is this? And I've looked back on it briefly before I wanted to upload the video. So that's been a bit of a rush job, so let's look at this carefully this time. Right, so this is where we end up having the unit, right? Which I don't think is right. So, where are the options? Now remember, he's a 3-step unit. Actually, I forgot about that as well. So that could... No, I don't think that's going to affect things. Right, let's get this guy moved as close as possible to this and find all the hexes that he can reach. Okay, yeah, I'm sure if I look at the video footage, I come to the conclusion that it's the 2 hexes. Now remember, he has 3 steps. I thought that came into it in the original plan. Well, no, this hex is now full anyway. He can't reach there, and if he could reach there, he's got 3 steps. Maybe that's what I mentioned. 1, 2, 3, 4. So he can reach this empty hex or this hex here. Okay, so empty hex, and I seem to remember saying in the video, okay, I can see an empty hex there. Looks like it's going to go here. Well, let's just see if this does complicate things a little better, because again, I find these 2 hexes right now. Here's the thing with this one is we can't look at 9.25 yet because we need to decide if it's going in this hex or this hex, and I actually put them in this hex, so we don't need to look at 9.25. However, that's where I made the mistake. So we've decided on these 2 hexes, we tie break these 2 hexes, which is preference A is closest to the unit's objective marker if in play. So again though, I'm blundering because I'm looking at this unit. I do the same again, and I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're both the same distance away. So I then move on to the next tiebreaker, which is empty hex, and I put it in here, and then I don't need to check 9.25. However, that's wrong because the objective marker's down here, Grant, and yet again, this is 1 hex closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as in this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a tie-break hex, not this. So this is not an option at all, right? And this is where things start getting interesting. I'll just leave that 3 there just now, just in case. And of course, this is where it gets quite interesting because that's the hex that unit wants to move to, but however, it's now obviously it's going to trigger 9.25, and so with the triggering of 9.25, now remember his requirement is to get as close as possible to this unit. So it was a choice of these 2 hexes. Sorry, I should have maybe just left that. It was a choice of these 2 hexes, but we tie break it down to nearest objective marker, and that's that one. And of course I make a mistake with that, right? But we'll fix that mistake now. So that's where the unit's going to move to. So let's do that. And he can go in there because there's 2 steps already in there. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4 into there, from there, okay? And to be honest, I can take that away now because that was a mistake. So so that's where he's moved from, and he's sitting in his place closest possible to that. However, he's moved adjacent to a German unit. So now we need to work out if he's going to adjust. So, and the adjustment possibilities here around this German unit. Now we can't get anything silly like into here. Then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can't get in here. We can get here, however, where I've moved them, and we can get here, and we can get here as well. So now he could adjust back to the 2 hexes. Now we've already tie-breaked already, right? So we've tie-break to find this hex, which is then triggered 9.25, which I said I would do. I said I was going to do movement method, tie-break if needed, which we needed it here. 9.25, right, if we landed adjacent to German unit, and then tie-break again if needed. So let's see where this goes, because I think it goes to somewhere we've not been yet. The explosion's going to happen. Well, we'll see. Maybe I've looked at it wrong. So 9.25 from these 3 hexes is where are we? Right, carefully, operational limit doesn't apply. Hex, it would cause German unit to become surrounded, and it's this German unit. Would it become, it's not, we can't surround that, okay? A hex in Soviet support, they're on support. A hex not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit. Each one of them is going to be adjacent to a Soviet unit, never mind occupied by one. Now, an empty or garrisoned hex. Okay, now the hex that he moved to is not empty. Okay, so now this hex is out now. It's between these 2. So we move on. Both of them are empty. A hex not occupied by an active unit. Well, they're both not occupied by an active unit. So we've got now 2 options we need to tie-break again. So I think this is the first time this has happened. So if I move back to tiebreakers now, and not consider this hex, we're considering these 2, we get closest to the unit's objective marker. I think they're both the same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they're both the same. And then the next preference is tiebreakers there. Is an empty hex. Well, they're both empty. The next tiebreaker is the hex furthest in the compass direction on the objective marker. The objective marker is west. That's further west, and that's the hex that the unit should then adjust into. So he would have went from there 1, 2, 3 into here. From there, and he's not broke any restrictions. But you see the journey that he took that time. That's the first time I think we've had that. And that, however, I think it went right. I mean, obviously I made a mistake, but we checked. Well, I don't know. We need to decide if this was right. We checked the movement method. It ended up being a choice between these 2 hexes. Now we have to tie-break that. So you have to tie-break that. It tie-breaks into there, which triggers 9.25. We look at 9.25, which then... Now, well, this is maybe where we could have some issues, because this is the hex that is closest to the German unit. Okay? These were the 2 that were closest to the German unit. And we know 9.25 can break that. I understand that. But once we've tie-break between the 2, we then trigger 9.25, which is sent the unit away around here. Should we be doing that? Or should we be, once hitting 9.25, as long as we can stay adjacent to the German unit, stick with the movement method? I'm not so sure. Yeah, I mean, I think the fact he's moved away around there after all that, I think it's fine as well. I think it's fine. Because we've done movement method, we tie-braked, we got 9.25, and then we had to tie-break again. I mean, that's what I said I would do. Now I've done all that properly this time, rather than make that mistake. and he's ended up there. So I don't know what the other outcome should have been. I mean, the only other outcome I could think might have been was he just stayed there. But no, I don't think that's right, Grant. I think we've done that right. And to be honest, it's still not kind of contradicted where, well, it kind of is in a way, because we tie-braked already, found a hex, then adjusted, tie-braked again, and found another hex. So, I don't know, it's quite interesting, that one anyway. So I'm glad it's came up. And I get the feeling there might be some other ones to come like that. But let me know what you would have done there, guys, if that's the right outcome in the end. I think it feels right, that. But there definitely feels something strange about it. And I think we've got stranger things to happen. When you're moving adjacent to maybe multiple German units. I think there's more to come with this, but we'll see. Right, okay. 21 minutes in, Grant. What do you know? Right. Well, I'll straighten these units out, and it's going to be our turn, isn't it? We've got. Oh yeah, we're going to get some victory points secured, aren't we? Okay, I can definitely feel the map closing on me. Actually, all of a sudden, I've not really got space to put. I've got army objective markers down here as well now, so we're it might be getting close to the time where I maybe need to. That's me zoomed right out there, isn't it? Yeah, I think it might be close to the time where I might want to consider moving the map up a little bit, but obviously that's going to take great care because I've got it under plexi, of course. So. Maybe need to make sure we've got a good picture of everything just in case it all goes to pot. Yeah, don't want to go this far and then make a mess of things. Right, so there's a hand. I know it's like scattered a bit there a bit. Well, you know what? We don't really need to look at it, do we? We've not got another. We've got 2 units that we can move in to secure victory points. If we're going to do that, we need to use this card to activate 2nd SS, or I don't think we can do it the other way, can we? Because it's like activate all 4th Panzer Army and Corps Rausch units within 2 hexes of a hex of your choice. Yeah, because I already decided this, because I need to activate this unit and this unit. So that's not going to work. So I'm not going to be able to do it that way. I'm just going to have to activate all units in 1/4 Panzer Army Corps, which is going to be 2nd SS. And that's going to be that. I don't think there's any more questions to be asked, really, Grant. Yeah, and remember, it was third Corps we activated last turn. We did skip the impulse in between when we had activated 2nd SS already. So yes, I am activating 2nd SS with my 4th Panzer Army card, and yes. Okay, so there's my 4 units activated. There's not enough of what to. The only consideration could be if I wanted to move this unit, I suppose, because this guy's staying in Chugev. This guy is just moving straight on, no messing about. He's moving in there. Oops, that's him moved. To secure the victory point of hex. I mean, yeah, he could get attacked now, but the fact that they were able to go and stroll right in it. What force have they got here? They've got 10 against 4, so they've got the 2-1. And the thing is, though, I don't think they can get any more through. You know, these units can't come through, and this stack's full, so it's 10 against 4, and that's it. I mean, in fact, it's 10 against 5 because we are adjacent to supply German unit. However, that is still 2-1, so that's a high chance they're going to attack, aren't they? So, and then the other definite move we've got to make. Like I say, I didn't move this guy before, so I don't have the option because. I looked at it already. I didn't have the movement to go out and in because of the terrain that he's having to come through here. So, but this guy was fine. So we're going to move him. 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't really matter how he does it. He's in here as well. And then again, these third tank units can't get through to this guy. So, okay, these can attack. They're all going to come across the river though, which is good. And I think that's a good reason to leave that guy there actually, because if we back up across the river here, it allows these units to move into that hex and then build a stronger attack on that. Okay, they're still coming across the river, but so I get the feeling we should just leave that guy where he is. Should we? I don't know. Part of me thinks I probably should. They seem to be holding off pretty well at the moment. I know we're not. Well, actually, I'm saying we're hardly into the second turn. To be honest, we're a good third of the way through their deck, maybe a bit more than that. Yeah, I think we need to keep him here because it's tighter. Because this Rouse unit's in a lot of trouble, and if I move this guy back here, in fact, that is creating a gap. These units can just come through here. Zoom out a little bit. They're free. If I move that guy back across the river, they're on the move. Okay, they're coming across the river first, but they're through. Whereas I will leave them there. We've got this Rouse unit, and in fact, if this Rouse unit gets taken out, then there's going to be a gap. So we need to watch this. I put that unit into there, and did I not have the option to maybe put them into there? I think I probably did. Which, looking at it now, might have been safer. I guess I was trying to support both these units, but this guy's really vulnerable. You've got to think that if Popov activates, that guy's going down, and then if they get a 2-hex advance, I don't think they'll 2-hex advance across the river if I've got that guy there. So there is that. Right, so I'm going to leave that guy there. I'm going to leave that guy there. Basically, that is our impulse over. So we've got Volchan secured and Zimiev secured. That we can't build IPs. This one's already got one. This one can't take one. We've got them secured. That they should have probably been secured a long time ago, though. However, lessons learned maybe. Right. So that is us. Now that was 4th Panzer Army. So, but we activated 2nd SS again, so we can't activate 2nd SS again next turn. That's it. Activate all units. Let's say we couldn't build an IP, so that's that card gone. And remember, we won't get that 4th Panzer Army card back next turn because it's a supplementary card. I'm going to draw a new card, so we'll see what we get. Well, it's got engineers on it. I don't know, what are you looking for here, Grant? We had the 3rd Corps card, we've done that. We've just done the 2nd, okay, if I'd drawn a 2nd SS card, I would have used that instead of the 4th Panzer. But we didn't get that, so that's that. We've got Corps Rouse, I don't know what else I'm looking for, really. So that's got artillery as a combat tactic, it's got event, engineers, and then we've only got the one unit. I did look at him for a while and wondered if he could wander, but nah, he can't really. He's keeping this gap closed. Yeah, well, there's the thing. We could play it. Well, I'd be better playing it for engineers rather than activating the core, really, because there's only one unit. But I could play it for engineers and put an IP on him and a couple of IPs on. I'm sure we could find other options. So yeah, okay. Right, okay, so almost 30 minutes. Can we attempt Soviet Impulse? Well, you know what, we'll get started and then I'll just get so far and then maybe pause and cut the video and whatever. Okay, so Soviet Impulse, so we're past that fear of drawing 3rd Tank or Popov or what was it? 6th Army, wasn't it? Well, we drew the 6th Army card and it shuffled down there, the units card. That was maybe quite fortunate, but okay, Soviet Impulse. Oh well, southwest front. Well, that's the Popov front, right? Oh, and Popov units. Well, I'm glad I seen the other cards that I got the last time rather than these, I think, because I think I would have been saying, we're in a lot of trouble. So, no primary card there, but this is clearly the stronger card, and with a command value of 4, may mean more attacks going to happen. Now, the Pop-Off Units card only has an event from turn 6. So that's going to sit there just now. It's got NKVD as a combat tactics. But what's going to activate? It's going to be Pop-Off as well, isn't it? This could be interesting because I mean, unless they use NKVD combat tactics, which they might do because it's not the same as that. So what does it do? It was kind of weird that one, wasn't it? On the attack, increase hits incurred by the defender by 1, NKVD combat chit supplies. That's basically what it does. So yeah, and to be honest, well, that might well be used then. So we might only suffer the one pop-off activation. However, this one is just a units one. So if it does come down to that, it's just going to be 2 stacks of them. Which might not be so bad. Right, so no event to apply there, so we're going to get the southwestern front card out and activate all units in mobile group pop-off. Oh, plus stacked units. Ooh. Oh, I think we're getting a 6 army guy. Right, hang on, here we go. Yeah, I think this is pop-off units in here, isn't it? Yeah, it is. And here as well. Oh, he's going to grab both the guys. Right, let me move them about a bit. Well, to be honest, maybe not. Maybe it's just as well leaving them there, because these are the lower selector numbers, I think. These were all one-step units, weren't they? Ew, that's going to be yuck then. So, well, it's going to activate all the pop-off units and the units that are stacked with it, so it's going to activate the 2/6 army units, like I've just said. So there's that to worry about. Right, there we go. Right, I'm on the ball. I've activated my units. Yeah, turn 1 to 3. Yeah, okay. Well, that looks like well, let's just see what happens. I'm obviously looking at this, wondering what's going to go down, but I think if there's attack, it's maybe going to be on that guy rather than the victory point, because that's across the river. So it's one that, well, like I said, if I'd moved that guy back, I was creating a gap. So if I'd done that, these guys might have just moved into here and possibly even, well, I'm not quite sure they would have reached here, but yeah, okay. So what about the front objective then? So are we moving that to start with? Don't think so. So it's southwest front, yeah. So that's the active front. There's not a southwest front unit in it. There's not a German unit with a southwest front right about it, and I don't believe there's still not a southwest front unit proximate to it, is there? No, there is not. Okay, so moving on. I'm going to try and look at the player aid again. We'll see how long that lasts. Right, so first movement method is take a VP hex. They cannot. However, if we hadn't moved this unit in Zimyev right now, they would be urbanly infiltrating that. Urbanly. There's another made up word, I think. I would be infiltrating that anyway. However, we got there just in the nick of time. So, yeah, there's no VP hexes for them to take. We secured all the problems. So, yeah, I think we can just move past that one. And on to adjacent to German VP hex and near objective. Okay, so looking at an ascending order. Moving units adjacent to German VP hex, but also nearer the objective, or within 4 hexes of the objective. Yeah, there's probably not going to be a lot of this, is there? Because again, they can't really break through. Unit 1 would be looked at first, but we can get adjacent to this. I mean, this wouldn't be going closer to us, but I mean, if they did get to, well, hang on, they skip, they're spearheads, aren't they? So they would skip movement method, what is it, 6, I think? Well, is there any VP hexes down here? This is a VP hex, Zimyev, right? Now there's 3 units in that hex, so that kind of messes things up, because that is the only hex that they can reach still. They cannot get through to here, and they cannot get through round the back. I've got this Rauschen in the way, whose hours are numbered, I think. I think he's in trouble. So they can't get around here. So they can't get adjacent to a VP hex. Well, hang on. There is still Chukyev, which is, the thing is, I mean, this hex is full adjacent to it. We can't get, the only other hex we can get into adjacent to it is this. Unfortunately, it's across the Donets, well, maybe fortunately, it's across the Donets River. However, that is also within 4. Now, yeah, that was something that cropped up and made me think about. Move to a hex closer to or within 4. Yeah, no, it is. It's the actual hex you're moving to. It's nothing to do with the VP hex that you're moving adjacent to. It's where, if the hex you're moving to is within 4 of your front objective. I just had a wee doubt about that one. But if I move to there, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm 4 away. I'm within 4 of my objective. So it doesn't matter if I'm not getting closer by moving to there. I'm within 4. So, well, in actual fact, this guy is possibly, wait now, I know I need to look at other things first, but this guy, breaking zone of control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he actually could move from there into there. That number 10, well, number 13, select a number. Right now though, there's some that, right, give me a sec. Okay, yeah. We just need to look at the sort of last part of this instruction. As a Soviet unit starting adjacent to a German VP hex within 4 hexes of the objective marker and unable to move to a more preferred VP hex does not move by this or any subsequent method. And obviously, you're not telling me that they would do that, surely. No, they're southwest front, right, okay. Yeah, I started thinking about these guys coming out and going around here. I mean, I think they could actually make it the pop-off units underneath anyway. But they wouldn't do that because they prefer a VPX targeted exclusively. Well, they're sitting adjacent to this and this. But let's just say, I mean, these are both not targeted exclusively for the southwest front. So let's just consider it then. It's surely not, but and then this is to find our target. Targeted by the least German strength is the next one. Well, that's 5, and that's 5 now. Well, sorry, that was 5 anyway. This one's 5 now, and that one's 5. Not across the Dnieper River hex side from the new moving units hex, sorry. We're not at the Dnieper. With the highest VP value, they're both 1s. So we can't break it down at all. Unable to move to a more preferred VP hex, does not move by this or any subsequent method, except as directed by 9.25. If we can't break it down at all, do we tie break between the two to see which is the most preferred VP hex? I'm not so sure about that one. I don't know. But let's look at tiebreaker. Closest to the unit's objective marker. Well, there you go then. Right. If we were tiebreaking it, that's closer than what that is. So yeah, I guess it all balances out if you look at that. I'm not so sure that because it did say that if I'm unable to find a more preferred VP hex, I suppose them both being balanced as equal, I would need to tiebreak. So yeah. So what these units are going to do, well, I can't really jump in and make that choice for them just now anyway, because we are meant to look at this in ascending order. Well, however, Unit 3 is going to be the next in line. So Unit 1 is not going to be able to move with movement method 2, right? No. So Unit 3 would be next. However, he is starting adjacent to German VP hex within 4 hexes of the objective marker and unable to move to a more preferred VP hex. So he's not going to move by this or any subsequent movement method unless he can adjust with 9.25. The only adjustment he can make is from there to there, isn't it? Yeah. Because he's adjacent to this German unit and adjacent to this German unit. And again, I think this is an area that needs cleared up as well, needs cleaned up. We need to maybe, because he's here because of this hex and maybe this German unit, and maybe he shouldn't be swayed towards this, because I mean, if he gets put to there, is that right? Well, okay. Well, what does 9.25 want him to go there? I don't think it probably will, looking at the situation. And the fact that we've moved these units quite recently probably tells me that this is more preferential. But it might not be, because this hex is full. And I think that's the reason why that guy went there, maybe. We can't surround... Hex not occupied by adjacent, yeah. Empty hex. Hex not occupied by an active unit. They're both occupied by active units. So, and then if you were to tie break, closest to the objective marker, they're both the same. Yeah, you're going to come to compass direction again. So he is not going to move in this movement method, in this movement phase. So I'm going to put him like that down the bottom, and then... So he can't move by any... Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. That's the 6th Army guy. Do we not have a Unit 3 from Popov? Maybe we don't. He's a 4. No, yeah, he is the next active unit in line, isn't he? A 3. Yeah, okay. So... Yeah, so that's us dealt with Unit 3. Yeah, I can see this is going to take a while. The way you're dealing with it, Grant. But I'm looking at this in ascending order. Okay, I'm doing it right. I've found out that he doesn't want to move by this or any subsequent method, and 9.25 is not going to change that for him. So he's happy where he is. So is there any other units that could move or be considered by movement method 2? Well, we know that these two Popov units, when it comes down to it, are just going to do the same, but I think we need to do them in order just in case something changes, you know. I doubt it's going to, but we do need to do them in order, because if something moved away from somewhere, then we're doing it out of the sequence. You know, this is a 23. I need to deal with things before 23. I've got 4s and 6s and whatever to do. Well, who is next, actually? There's a point, because they're both 4. But hang on though, do we have a... Yeah, well, we already said this unit could actually go to here. This guy, there's no room in there, so he can't go there. Can he go? 1, 2, 3... No, it's 5 movement for him. However, this guy could. 1, 2, 3, 4... No, he can't. It's 2 across the Donets and 1 for the actual hex. So he's breaking zone of control. Oh, in fact, he can't go in there because that's like, now he's got a roundabout kind of way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to cost him 8 to get in there. So is Popov the lowest core? Because we've got 2 4s here. One's a 6 army, one's a Popov. I think Popov. Yeah, I probably shouldn't need to look this up. I'm pretty sure they're the lowest when it comes to it. Page 6, a continuation of unit selector number. Very top of the page. Invent you must select from units with the same selector, possible between units in different German corps or Soviet armies. Select the unit in the lower numbered corps or army. Soviet mobile group Popov and German corps Raus are considered to be numbered 0 for this purpose. So 0 is as low as you can get. That's interesting that the Raus are lower. You would have thought they'd been the opposite. Well, hang on. Why does that matter? We're playing then. Right, I'm not sure. let's not bother ourselves with that. Right, so Popov are going to go for. It's just this guy's got out. They've both got selector number 4, so he's going to go first. There's no room in this hex, like we said, so the only other possible move with movement method 2 would be to reach this hex. And he cannot do that. So let's move on. So the next unit 4 would be the 6th Army unit. He cannot reach that either. So I think we can just move through them like that. So who would be next? This is a 20, so we've got high numbers there. It could be the 13 this time. It is the 13. I think 13 can do this then. So let's have a closer look at this. It's like I say, is 1, 2 breaking zone of control, 3, and then it's 2 across the Donets, 1 into the clear hex. So that is 6. So I think he can do this. Is this a, you know, is this the right move though? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is he satisfying the movement method? That's what we need to know. I think so. I mean, there's no point looking at preferences because we cannot get adjacent to any other German VP hex. This is the only one that we can get adjacent to from the selection of units that we're looking at, and quite possibly only this unit and maybe the one underneath that. Actually, when I think about it. So, as he moved to a hex closer to, well, he's not moved to a hex closer to, right? But he's moved to a hex within 4 hexes of the unit's objective marker. 1, 2, 3, 4. And adjacent to a German VP hex. He's adjacent to a German VP hex. Yeah. And has he broke any restriction then? So he came from there. So he's moved away from that Rausch. No, there's no surround on the Rausch unit. No. The Rausch unit is fine. He's not broke any surround. He's not let him through. Yeah, I think he's good there. And now he's moving adjacent to a German unit. Grant. However, from there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He cannot move into this hex adjacent to this. And he cannot get, well, I would doubt it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, he's not far away from reaching that hex actually, which would be a strange one. 1, 2, 3. No, hang on. 1, 2. If he starts there, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he can't get adjacent to these 2 hexes adjacent to that guy. There's no room adjacent to that guy, so he doesn't need a 9.25. He's in the only hex he can be within his movement methods, within his movement allowance, adjacent to a German unit. Okay. Right, and yeah, I'm going to go with that one actually. Okay, so that was 13. We'll go in 17 or something under here. Right, he's only infantry. So yeah, he can't reach. He's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, He can't reach, and remember, we're only trying to really reach that hex. There's 4 steps in it. We could get another unit, and I think that guy under there might go. So that was what, 17, 18. Was that 17? Yeah, 17 there. 18's up here. No. And then we get down to, I think this guy is 20, isn't he? Okay, so 20. So, can he reach then? So he'd be 1, 2, breaking zone of control, 3. Yeah, he can go as well, and he's only 1 step. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I know he's moving. His objective marker's here, but he can reach a hex that's within 4 of it, and still be adjacent to a German VP hex. And he's not adjacent to a German VP hex at the moment. So he's going to go 1, 2, breaking zone of control, 3, and then 4, 5, 6. 2 to cross the Donets, 1 in the clear hex. And again, cannot make adjustments with 9.25, so he's happy where he is. He's not broke any restrictions. So that's good. That was unit 20. Right, 23 and 26 are just going to turn sideways like that 6th Army unit, aren't they? Because there's still a unit in this hex, so no, that doesn't matter. Well, it could matter. If that unit had moved away, 9.25 may well have adjusted. But it's not. There's a unit still in there. It's going to come right down to tie breaks, and they're going to stay where they are, just like the unit underneath. Pretty sure that's right. So we're going to put these guys down the bottom. And these cannot move by any other movement method either. They can still attack. They could bounce back to reserves. So that was 23 and 26 or something. Okay, so that's us done. That's us went right through the units with movement method 2. So 3 as open supply line from turn 3. Movement method 4 and 9 is only for is not for spearhead units unless they're in a town or city. None of these units are in a town or city, so we're going to skip 4 to 9. And maybe I can squeeze all this in, no? Movement arrows in ascending order. Unit 1 cannot move. Unit 4 for Popov first cannot move. And when we come down to it, 17 as well. Unit 4 for that cannot move. What else have we got? 18. He cannot move. No. Okay, so nothing with movement method 10. 11 is move closest to front objective, move to hex closer to the unit's front objective, not the same distance. And then closest and adjacent to the lowest German strength. And ascend in order again. Yeah, this was when unit 1. Yeah, nobody's made comment on that one. He'll probably just do the same thing. Well, mind you, we adjusted the 3rd Corps a bit. This is the one when he moved here 1 hex closer and then adjusted back into his own hex. I can only assume the same thing might happen then. Right, can he get closer to his army objective? Sorry, his front objective. Yeah, he was breaking restrictions, wasn't he? Yeah, that was it. So hang on. Yeah, I was just looking. It's the same outcome. He can't move to these 2 hexes. Now, he can't move further round because he would then be allowing access to Izium and possibly Slavansk. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Slavansk is covered by this 1st Guard unit. But if he moves any further, what's the compass direction? North, than that. If he was to move into that, which is 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they're both 7 hexes away from his objective, whereas that, where he is just now, is 8. So they're getting closer. That would be 6 hexes away. However, he's breaking a restriction. Izium's then proximate to these German units. So, and it's exactly the same situation. When you tie break between the 2, it lands at here, okay? because it's, again, compass direction west. So he lands there. And then when he lands there, because he's adjacent to the German unit. Now, if he landed there, we wouldn't check 9.25, but I've got to decide between the two. So he lands there, so we're 9.25 at, and then here is adjacent to a Soviet unit, and here, adjacent to the same German unit, is not adjacent to the Soviet unit. So he adjusts back again. He's stuck in a loop. Well, I say he's stuck in a loop, but I mean, has he actually done anything then? Well, I don't know. No, actually, he's probably not then, has he? What are we looking at? Movement method 11 here. Yeah, I suppose he could have done something before this, but it's where he is. You know, he's had movement methods before this. It's where he is, he's kind of stuck. Because I suppose you've got to say that that unit hasn't moved. It's wanted to move here or here, maybe. It's decided that it prefers here, tie break wise, and then when it looks at here, it says, "Oh no, wait now." 9.25 says, "I'm just going to stay where I am." So I guess you could say that he's not had a movement yet, and then we should look at movement method 12. Maybe? Well, I know we've not finished with 11 yet, but let's just glance at 12. He is adjacent, so he would not move by this method. However, he would adjust. Would he adjust from there then? Because he can now adjust into, well, we know he's not going to go into there because he's going to be adjacent to a unit, but it's going to be adjacent to a Soviet unit as well. So he's going to stay exactly where he is. He's not going to do anything. Yeah. He's not considered moved. Now, that movement method 12 doesn't sort of... Well, I could do the same with him, but let's just leave him like that. Right, let's move back to 11 then. So, closest to front objective. Who's next in line? Unit 4. Well, there's 2 Unit 4s. I'm kind of lost to where I'm looking there. Where are we? Maybe back up a little bit, I think. Yeah, the map. Like I say, the map's closing in a bit on me. Yeah, there's 2 Unit 4s, but we know that the pop-off one's going to be looked at first because he's got a core value of 0. An army value of 0. Right, well, where can he go? Right, I've got his objective in line there, so you can have a look. Right, I'm pretty sure that's as close as he's going to get. That's 2 away. I mean, he could have reached these hexes behind, but you can't get in there. So that's 2 away, and he can't get in there, or he would have been in there sooner. Okay, so don't think he's going to be breaking any restrictions. So he's got to go up here to start with. Oh dear. Careful, Grant. Right, hang on a sec. Okay, that could have been worse, I guess. Right, so he's here. 1, 2, he's got to break because he's breaking from this guy here. Well as the other ones. But 1, 2, breaking zone of control. 3, 4, 5, and then 6 into here. There's no point checking for adjust because he cannot reach this hex and he cannot reach that hex, so that's fine. He's 2 steps. I'll put him down the bottom because we're now going to look at, and he's not broke any restrictions. Still a unit there. Nothing was, well, actually that unit is surrounded, so yeah, these guys are going to be restricted. One of them, well, we'll see. So the next one to check is the 6th Army Unit 4. To get closer. Well, he's not going to get closer, is he? No, he cannot get closer. No. Right, so who's next? I've got units turned all different ways and confused. Well, they two have moved, haven't they? So they're facing that way. Yeah, I wouldn't have one underneath facing the other way. You know, I would do it that way to make sure I was clear about where I'm at. These are all locked in, can't move. So we've just got 17 and 18 here. So 17. Now, like I just said, I wonder if he can move a hex or two, maybe. No, he can't. I think we had similar issue with him before, didn't we? Because he's on the sort of the column of the objective, so it's 1, 2, 3. He's 4 away at the moment, and I've not checked if he's breaking this around. He might well be, but both these two options are 4 away as well, so he can't get to a hex that's closer to the objective. And I'm pretty sure 18 is going to be restricted, isn't he? 17 might have got away with it because there's a couple of 6 army units about, but okay, have a look. Yeah, no, it's not even worth a look, is it? Because they've got to go up to Izium to start with. That's not any closer, and it's going to break the surround. Yeah, so he can't because he's restricted. Well, I don't even think it's that. I don't think he can get closer. Right, fine. That's them all checked for movement method 11. Last one, 12. If not adjacent to German unit, move to hex adjacent to German unit to which another active Soviet unit is also adjacent. Again, ascending order. Well, we know this guy is adjacent. We done all that, and yeah, to be honest, I want to turn him like that, as if because movement method 12 should be worded the same, even though there's no subsequent methods. Well, I guess you're at the last movement method, Grant. But you know what? That keeps it right for me. You know, he's come to a conclusion that he can't move by any movement method, and he's not moved. So that keeps it right for me, right? So we'll stick with that. So unit 4 is next. He is adjacent to German unit as well. Now, yeah, and you do need to consider 9.25. But if you recall, we've looked at all this, and he's just doing a wee flip back and forward. I don't know if he's classed as moved or not, to be honest. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say that the decision at the end is that he just stays where he is. That's what I'm coming to, but please let me know if you think otherwise. A unit starting adjacent to Germany unit does not move by this method. And then 9.25. So unit 4 cannot 9.25. So I guess he goes that way as well, doesn't he? Well, yeah. In actual fact, they don't. I don't really need to do that with them. They're not moving. Yeah, let's not do that, Grant. They're not moving. Yeah, I've got 17 and 18. Again, 17's adjacent. Yeah, but 9.25, Grant. So can 17 adjust, maybe? Ooh, well. Right, let's have a look at that one then. Okay, so I'm looking at 3 German units. And this guy, and well, we need to see where this is going to start heading once you're looking at multiple units. So he's in a hex that is adjacent to German unit, so he's not going to move. However, 9.25 is going to check if he wants to adjust. So they are the 3 possible units. He can go out and into there, out and into there. So yeah, I'm quite curious about this option. Maybe it might. So if we've got 3 options, and remember that one's an option 2. Hang on, Grant. Where are we here? Yeah, this is. We're trying to do 9.25. Yeah, don't look at tiebreakers, Grant. These are your 9.25 options. Yeah. Yeah. Hex it would cause German unit to become surrounded. Well, no, the unit is adjacent to is already surrounded, so that could prevent them from moving. support. Hex not adjacent. A hex not occupied by or adjacent to a Soviet unit. That would be occupied by. That would be adjacent. That would be adjacent. So none of that breaks it down. Empty or garrison hex. This is not empty, so take that one away. These two are empty. Hex not occupied by an active unit. Both of them are the same. Tiebreakers. Closest to the objective. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that's a little bit off camera. Well, I can show you it there. The same distance away. Empty hex, they're both empty. Hex furthest in the compass direction. Yeah, I thought that. So, but is he allowed to do that? Can he adjust to here? That would be quite interesting to see if he can. Is the unit still surrounded? No, it's not, Grant. This unit can move. He can now move into that hex. So no, this guy's not going to move at all. So we'll just leave him like that. And then 18. Yeah, it's going to be the same situation. I mean, I think he can only adjust into this hex, which is going to remove something from that. So that's not going to happen. Right, that's us. That's us. Well, that's everyone moved. Well, yeah, these units have not moved, remember. Just in case, because some of these could possibly bounce back to reserves. They've not moved. And these ones are not considered to have moved as well, but I turned them that way to make sure I didn't try and move them with another movement method. Right, okay. Right, let's see if we can finish this up, Grant. An hour and 6 minutes. So we're going to move to check for combat, yeah? Conduct attack checks for Unit 1 first. I think we've been here. I mean, we've got a 4 on the card here, so let's not forget about that. So he can check. He's got. Whoa, yeah. This guy maybe didn't. No, I think he did. I think he didn't have an IP the last time either. Maybe he did. Yeah, they've got units adjacent though. Right. Well, anyway, 6 against 4 plus 1. So 6 against 5 or 6 against 4 plus 1 plus 1. So he's going to look at this one. 6 against 5. That's the better odds. I mean, they're both 1-1, but it's still the one he's going to look at. 6 against 5. Because he's got a defender adjacent, yeah. Yeah, okay. So it's 1-1 odds. It's just greater than 1-1 odds. So we tactical value check it, and the card values are 4. So yes, that's 4. The ratio is not 2-1, so that doesn't bump it up by an R2. And Soviet artillery barrage, no. As attack and Soviet support, it is. That's up to 5. If any attacking units are surrounded, no. If flanking will apply or the defenders surrounded, no. If target hex is greater than equal to VP times 2, no. If all combat tactics on the card apply, but that's the second last one. That would only give us a plus. I think it would apply, so it would take us to 6. So he's 1 short. So that's a no. So that's him done his check. Right, next. I don't know. We've got things all over the place here. Right. Unit 3, innit? Yeah. So this guy here. Right. This is the more interesting one, I think. So we've got. Well, hang on. You can check both of these. It's surely going to be the check on here, though. Yeah, because he's a 5 strength. Oh, wait just now. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that would be 8 to 5, 8 to 6 if it goes this way, or Oh yeah, he's got a 5 in here. So 8 and 9 is 17. 17 to 4, plus 1 for the IP, plus 1 for the adjacent. 17 to 6, is it? 8 and 9, 17 against 6. Yeah. So it's not 3 to 1 though, is it? Right, you need to be sure about this one, Grant. It's certainly going to check this before that stack checks that. Yeah, it is indeed. So our check is going here, 17 to 6. So we do, it's 2 to 1. So it's not quite 3 to 1. It was just short. So we do a tactical value check. This is a 3. This, oh, sorry, that gives, oh, what are you talking about, Grant? That's a 4, sorry. Right, so we add the combat value of the card. It's a 4. We do this time have 2 to 1 odds. So that's a plus 2, taking it to 6. And then they're in support. That's a 7, and it's a goal. And there's no minuses that come off of that, so there's no point me reading any more, really, is there? Because nothing comes off. It's only going to get bigger than a 7. So once we reach a 7, then we've got a combat going on here. Okay, so let me get right to the start and turn these guys round the right way. In fact, I'll put that guy in the bottom. So these are attacking, and all these are attacking. We'll sort it out in a minute. There is... Oh, don't tell me I've... No, there's not any reserves. I think I checked that earlier, but then again, at the moment, it only comes in combat. So, although you do need to check, I think there's a. Anyway, we'll get to that. Right, the combat tactics NKVD. So it's not assault coordination. Not that it's going to matter in this. So 9, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So now it's 17 to 4. To get our odds right, 17 to 4 is 4 to 1 with Grant's counting, so hopefully that's right. And then chip pools are, well, these are 2 1 steps, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so no 3-step units. 5, we're not in the artillery barrage zone, so 5 chip pools just now. So that's where we sit. It's not overwhelming. So now we're going to draw a combat tactic. Is that right? I think so. Add active reserves. We didn't have any. Draw Soviet card. Right, so let's draw a combat tactic for the Soviets. Here we go. Tank brigade. Okay, we don't like that. Although, well, they've got armour, so it's going to add strength in it. And if it's anything like it was in the Soviet, so it reduces a hit, if I'm not mistaken. It might be different though, it might be. So tank brigade, and increase Soviet combat strength by 2 when attacking. So let me deal with that first. So we had 17, we've now got 19 to 4. Ah, we're fortunate there then. It's staying at 4 to 1, the 19 to 4. So increase Soviet combat strength by 2 when attacking. Soviet units in the combat are considered to possess armour if they do not already. They have armour anyway. Reduce total hits incurred by the Soviets in the combat by 1 when attacking or defending. So they get a reduction of 1 themselves. So they're not boosting the attack as such, they're just protecting themselves a little bit. So that's not brutal. It's bad enough, but... okay, so it didn't increase the odds, however it does increase the chip pools by another 1, so 4 to 1 odds, 6 chip pools. And now we look at the auxiliary card, and yeah, I mean, the fact we're using it, I don't know, is that a good thing, a bad thing, I don't know. Well, we'll maybe find out. So NKVD, and it's obviously not a match, it is going to apply. So Soviet attack, increase hits incurred by the defender by 1. So there you go. And then we've also got NKB combat chits that we might draw that will apply as well. So we've got 41, and that's again not increasing the odds. However, it will increase the chip pools again, Grant, to 7. I'm just going to double check them because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 combat tactics, 7. 7. The tank brigade increased their strength, making us up to 19. 19 4 is still 41 odds. We get to reduce a hit. The Soviets get to reduce a hit to themselves for the tank brigade, and they get to increase a hit to us with NKVD. Right, that's where we're at. That's how it's going to be. Right, we have the option of playing a card now. And rather than show you the cards, I've got 2 artillery options, an air power and a reinforced battle. And I don't think I'm allowed to reinforce the battle anyway. Actually, I don't think I can get into there. If this guy couldn't come into that hex, I don't think I can get into that hex. Plus, I'm pretty sure that I need to have only 4 strength with me, and that's 5. And I also don't want to do that. Do I? Yeah. So I suppose the only option... Well, you know what? I might consider... Did they play artillery? No, they did not. Artillery... What's the air... Well, actually, I might consider either one of them this time. Yeah, I might well do. Might have to have a wee think on this, and I think I'm going to have to take a break. But... Well, I suppose there is a potential other combat to come, Grant. Maybe. Just looking across here. What is that? That's 5 strength. Against 2 there, so maybe 5 strength against 3 because he's adjacent. Right. I'm just gonna pause just now and hopefully we can finish this off though. So I'll be back when I'm back. Right, hi all. Well, I've been on pause. It's just been on pause. So I've been away for a few hours though. Yeah, and wondered where I was right about to start the combat. The Soviets have done their thing, and then I looked at my hand just before we paused, and I thought, oh well, maybe. You know, we've got 2 artillery options, 1 air power option. Now they haven't played artillery or air power, so that gives an extra sort of incentive to maybe play them, because it's annoying to play one of them and then the priority comes up against you if they've played it, you know. So however, reinforced battle we cannot do. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure on defense for us we can only, that's what it used to be, didn't it? I'm not going to bother looking at it. I'm pretty sure that's the case, but I'm not going to move this guy out of Zimyev anyway to reinforce the battle. I think that's rather daft. So we've got Corps Rouse with artillery, Panzer Corps, 57 Panzer Corps Kampfgruppe card with artillery. However, it does have the engineers event on, and then 40 Panzer Corps with their power, but bearing in mind we do have that still in our hand. So I don't know, what is it? 41 odds, 7 chip pools. What are the pluses and the minuses? We've both got armour. Yeah, second SS Grant. We've got an IP, so that's good. They're not flanking. We're in the woods. So, yeah, and like I say, we've both got armour. 41 odds. Large attack. But large attack with 41 odds, remember, can sometimes give a bit of both. You know, it's when it gets to 5-1 odds. I think we found that it's a bit safer playing large attack with 5-1 odds. We've got a defender adjacent. We've got an IP, like I said. Yeah, we've got quite a bit for us here. But, I mean, would we care about losing one of the cards? Well, the thing is, we've got three cards left in our draw pile, right? And just to balance that, just to sort of let us know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, you know what? They've got 10 cards left in their draw pile. The Soviets. Okay, that probably is quite a lot. They're using up the. No, that's not that. Yeah, that's the auxiliary card this turn. So they're going to use up all the 3 cards in this attack. It's unlikely there's going to be another attack, but it's possible. So they might draw another card. But let's say they've got 10 cards. We've got 3 in our draw pile. So using one of these up. I think the fact this has got engineers event, I think we should keep hold of that, because we're holding. I feel like we're holding quite well at the moment, but I mean, I don't know. I thought things were going pretty well in the in the Soviet solo game, and all of a sudden things changed about quite quickly. So that, and plus the fact that card was artillery as well. So we've got this artillery card, Core-Rouse. There's nothing else on it. I mean, what are we going to do? Are we going to activate Core-Rouse? Like I said, you've got this guy in here. I mean, yeah, you could retreat him across the river, I suppose. We're not quite sure yet. I mean, this guy's going to look at an attack on that guy, to be honest. But yeah, and then the other cards, well, 40 Panzer Corps again. 40 Panzer Corps. Well, we've got 2 of them, but that's air power. But it's a bit hit or miss. Artillery and air power are like just the random factor of if you draw the chits or not. So yeah, I'm quite tempted here, I must admit. I mean, it's probably not how I should be thinking. And normally I don't play combat tactics, I'm really reluctant. So it's just the fact that the cards that I've got in my hat. But like I say, what other cards are you looking for, Grant? I mean, we've done our kind of important part where we've activated the second SS, put them into a place that we were then able to then move again. We got away with that one. In between that, we activated Third Corps, brought them down quite nicely. I think I was quite happy with the position of them, got some IPs on them. And like I say, we got lucky. I activated 4 Panzer Army, activating second SS again, moved them into the VP hexes to secure them. And then I'm looking at my hand thinking, well, it's not great. But I mean, what else? You know, we've had our really good cards and we've done our really good stuff. I mean, okay, we don't get too many cards. But I think, I mean, I'm going to keep these. So I'm going to keep an activation of 40 Panzer Corps. And you know what? I think we're going to have a little bit of air power for the fun of it. What do you think? The thing is, I think artillery's got more of a chance of a minus. You know, a D minus. No, does it? Artillery? I think it maybe does. If I play artillery, that, I mean, I'm not. I mean, okay, if I activate the Core-Rouse, I quite like the idea of just bringing that guy across the river. You know, because if something bad does happen here, well, I suppose if something bad happens, we retreat across the river, don't we? Yeah. Right. Now I'm swaying towards not playing anything at all. Yeah, it just comes back to that, doesn't it? I think, if anything, I'm going to play this air power. I'm not so sure if it's worthwhile or not, though, isn't it? I mean, what are they doing? Yeah, remember what they're doing. They're dealing us a hit with that, and they're reducing a hit with that, or is it the other way about? Whatever, they're getting to add. Whereas we're sitting in D1 at the moment. So okay, we've got an IP, fair enough, but. Yeah, the artillery's on the other artillery's on the engineers event, isn't it? Yeah, I kind of feel like I want to contribute something this time. So I'm going to play this for air power. And the other thing I was thinking there was, I mean, these are primary cards. So they come back every turn. And I'm noticing that next turn when I draw that card, I mean, okay, I've not got any damage 40 core units. But next turn, I can assign a replacement point. So I'm maybe going to be more reluctant. Well, I suppose I need to take some damage yet. Maybe I'm doing slightly better than I think. If all the primary cards have that on it, we also get to assign 2 replacement points on the other cards then, don't we? Yeah, there's a supplemental. We won't get this next turn. That's assigned 2 replacement points. I don't suppose that's that relevant right now, is it? Because if I've got this manned next turn, which I will have at some point, then I'm not going to just hold on to it in the hope that I can use it to replace a point, am I? Yeah, you've got 10 cards to come though, Grant. That's a worry, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm feeling like doing this, and I know it's against how I normally do things, so I'm going to play this. I'm going to play this for air power. Right, that's it. I've made my decision. So let's get a bit of the picture in there. Well, we know what we've got. You don't need to see everything. This is the attack hex. So okay, so 41, 7 chip pools. They're getting 1 hit already against us, 1 hit against them, and basically they're going to draw 7 chits. We have air power. They have NKVD, which might come out in the chits as well. We're in the woods. We're not flanked. We've got a defender adjacent. It's not bad. It's pretty good, I think. And I might be wasting a card, I suppose, but okay, I'm going to go with it. Just for the fun of it. Yeah. Right, I'll get 7 chits. I'll just drag them out one at a time though and pause in between. Ah, damn, that would have been a good start. In fact, well, it would have been defender artillery, wouldn't it? Oh, look at that. Ah, I chose the wrong one, didn't I? D-1. That would have cancelled the hit that they're doing straight from the start if I'd played artillery. Ah. Right then. No! Ah! Well, I mean, I guess it's not hits to myself right now. It's 2 chits that aren't applying, but wow, I would have been sitting sweet right now, wouldn't I? If I'd played, I mean, I had 2 artillery cards. These 2, a choice of both. I mean, the core rouse one wasn't that important, just to move. Oh. Yeah, okay. Right, let's get the next one then. Yeah, that's not good. That is good, however. We're in the woods. Yeah, I can see some green bits round the bottom, so yes, indeed, we're in the woods. And yeah, still might be regretting the option to play artillery, of course. Yeah, that's not what I want either, really, because they're getting to reduce a hat, and it's an extra hit to me. So now, well, I'm sitting at D1, but remember they're doing a hit as well, so I'm actually sitting at D2. I really want another woods chit or a defender adjacent, maybe, or an air power that does something good. Yes, that's what we want. City Woods D-1. So now we're hitting. Well, we're sitting at nothing. In fact, yeah, they're cancelling that out, and we're cancelling their hit out. So at the moment, there's nothing happening. So, well, I'm thinking the worst we can get is losing our IP now. So that would do. So want to come? Yeah, why not? Mock me some more. 3 artillery chits. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess. Well, we would have done one hit on him if we had played artillery, because all the chits would have applied. And in fact, we would have kept our IP as well, but it looks like we're losing our IP, and that's all that's happening. Now that's a refresh chit, so I'll put the chit set aside back in the cup. That is 7 chits. We had 41. We were in the woods, and we didn't play artillery. Arrgh. Okay, so well, the final result is D1A1, is it? No, it's just A1. Yeah, the final result is A1. Okay, so A1, so now I've discarded my air power, I've done nothing, so it feels like you've chucked the card away for nothing, but well, you can see if 3 of the chits had been air power, I might have saying the different thing, or if I played artillery. That's a random factor, right? Now, no, let's not just get rid of them just yet. So let's just double check. We've got Tank Brigade and NKVD. I'm pretty sure it's 1 hit for, 1 hit, and then 1 hit reduced, isn't it? I'm looking at the wrong. But NKVD, increase hits incurred by the defender by 1. NKVD combat chits apply. We never drew any chits, fortunately. So it does give us a hit. So let's just adjust that then and say it's D1A1. And then the Tank Brigade's going to take that A1 away, I think. Reduce total hits incurred by the Soviets in the combat by 1 when attacking or defending. So we'll take that away so that the actual result is D1. But well, you know what? We're okay with that. We kept our engineer's card as well. So the D1 is just going to remove the IP. So, and then the relevance to me talking about that engineer's card is I could put it back on if I so desired. Well, with the play of a card, admittedly. Right, so that soaks up that. And that's all that's happening. So, I mean, that was still a good result. Right, these cards are discarded. Yeah, it was still a good result. You know, yeah, like I say, the artillery chits could have been air power chits, or we could have played artillery and the air power chits could have been drawn, or, you know, I think there's probably more artillery than there is air power, so there maybe is something to be said for that. And you've seen what two of the artillery chits were D-1s. I'm not so sure the air power reduces. I don't know. I've not really studied all the chits, even in enemy action or den. I didn't. It's not the sort of thing I do. I just like to draw them and, yeah, the fun of the battle and see how we get on. Okay, that's done. That was Unit 3 we were checking for combat. Yeah, so we have other attack checks to carry out. This is 13 and he's got a 20 beside him. This is 17, this is 18, we've done 1. So 13. Well, he's not going to check against this, he's going to check against that because the odds are going to be much better. So he's got 5 against 2. 13 being the lead unit. I mean, the unit underneath is just a one-stepper, but he can tag along. So 5 against 2, however, he's adjacent to supplied German unit, so it's 5 against 3. Just trying to find the right bit. Yeah, 5 against 3 for being adjacent. No, he's not coming across the river. So 5 against 3. So it's not 2 to 1. But remember, the card that they've got is a 4. So there is that. So 5 against 3. Yeah, so it's greater than 1 to 1. So we do the tactical value check. So command cards are 4. Ooh, yeah, yeah, they've got armor as well. Let's okay, never mind. So it's not 2-1 though, the ratio, was it? No, it's not. So that doesn't count. It's not in the barrage zone. No, we're still sitting at 4. It's in support, so that takes it to 5. And they're going to get the armor bonus. Yeah, so that takes it to 6. I'm just wanting one more to avoid. If any attacking units are surrounded, they're not. If flanking will apply or defender will be surrounded. And remember, we're not bringing in any reserves or anything. So that's a no. If target hex VP greater than 2, equal to 2. If I'll combat, no, there's no combat tactics. Excellent, right, we're still sitting at 6. It's not happening. Good. Yeah, obviously I'm glad about that, because that actually would, he is holding the line there. If he gets taken out, then there is a gap. And I mean, look what's waiting in that gap, which we've had to leave empty. Yeah, that was really quite important, and it's better to have survived the attack just now, because there is a chance later on the turn it might still fall. So so that was 13, and yeah, 20 can't be considered as a lead unit, and the reason I'm saying that is because we've checked on that guy with 13 as a lead unit, so he can't be checked again. Once we come around to 20 can't be the lead unit to check there. It would be 1 against, it would be 5 against 6 anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. Right, okay, so 17 and 18 are the last 2, I think so. So let's home in on that and see if there's anything there. Yeah, we've got a wee Rouse unit. So 17, it's only 3 strength, so 3 against 2 there, but however, that's getting a +2. No, it's getting a +3, because IP across the river and adjacent. So he's not going to go for that one. He's going to go, in fact, well, yeah, it's going to be a 1-1, isn't it? So 3 against 2 gets a +1 for being adjacent. So it's 3 against 3, so 1-1 odds, but he's got infantry. It's not going to happen, is it? 4 for the card. No artillery barrage. Attack is in support, that's 5. If only Soviet units have armour, they do not. If any attacking units are surrounded, they are not. If flanking will apply, it will not. Or defender will be surrounded and unable to supply, it will not. Target VP hex, no. Combat tactics, no. So we settled on a 5 there, so nothing doing there. And then lastly, unit 18, well, he's a 3 against 2 +1 +1 +1. So 2 against 5, because the river, the IP, the adjacency, not going to happen. That's that. Well, that was good. I mean, I suppose the only thing bad was we lost an IP, but yeah, we could take that. We held our position, and like I said, I kept the engineer's card in my hand. I suppose the worst thing about it was we used the card up, but yeah. Right, and then okay, possible bounce back to the reserves then. Remove eligible units, active units to reserve box. Is that on the player aid somewhere? Yeah, it is. And that's what we're looking at. Right. So active on that unit in a hex and supply is eligible if the unit didn't move or attack this activation, and all the following apply. Right, so didn't move or attack. So these guys moved. These guys attacked and maybe moved as well. And these 3 did not, although we're not, I suppose we're not 100% sure about this guy. because he jumps about a bit. He's like a bit of a, yeah, flickers about. I'm going to say that he's not moved though. So let's just see. I think I probably will rather. Well, let's go with the play raid. So they didn't move or attack, and all the flying apply, and this is in descending order. So looking at 18, yeah, 18 and 17 are going to break surround, aren't they? So I'm not sure that's going to happen. In fact, is it not? Removal would not cause Soviet unit to be near. No. If in operational limit, removal would not cause surrounded German unit to become unsurrounded. If in operational limit. Yeah, and although this is I'm more talk of this operational limit, I've got to assume that we are in the operational limit throughout at the moment until it kicks in. And yeah, I do want to bring this up in the rule book. So the unit did not move or attack, right? The unit is adjacent to a German unit. We're going in descending order, so kind of looking at 18 here. It is adjacent to a German unit. Supply can be traced in the unit's hex. Reserve supply is not required. And supplies, right, supply can be traced, yeah. The unit was not placed on the map from reserve. Yeah, removal of the unit would not cause another Soviet unit to become nearly surrounded. Maybe, is it not? No, it doesn't look like the normal restrictions apply here, do they? Right, let's look at this next one. If in a hex in the operational limit, removal of the unit would not cause a surrounded German unit to become unsurrounded. And I think that's what that's doing. If I move that guy back to the reserves, I mean, I just, like this talk of operational limit, I think is there because there's going to come a time where we might be in and we might not be in the operational limit. So, you know, I know it got brought up. Well, it gets brought up in the next part, doesn't it? Nobody's said anything about that as well, but it doesn't make sense. If we weren't in any operational limit right now, we would never remove one of the reserve. Well, unless it was in a VP hex or something. So I'm going to assume that we're always in an operational limit at the moment until it kicks in where we're not. So if we did remove that guy, this guy would not be surrounded, and if we did remove this guy would not be surrounded as well, because he'd be able to move back there. At the moment he is surrounded. So the removal of both of them, I think, are not allowed. So the only other unit is Unit 1. And, well, if the restrictions don't kick in, we will be proximate to Izium if he does that. So let's have a look. See, it doesn't come up with these. And actually, I was looking for some. I don't know. I was looking through the posts on BGG for the game, and I came across. Actually, I think it was Eric that's commented a few times. Had posted a comment. I didn't quite fully read it. He eventually, I think he uploaded an image. I think it's from the Tabletop Simulator or something. Mod, and he was asking, it was something like that. So it was something about removing a unit back to the reserves, and it could be something like this that might have kicked in, because there's nothing to say that if I move him back to the reserves and I'm leaving proximity to this VP hex, I don't think there's anything that stops that. I mean, it might stop it some other way, and we're just going to look at that. So the unit did not move or attack. Well, we're kind of assuming he didn't move, but the unit is adjacent to a German unit, yeah. Supply can be traced, yeah. Unit was not placed on the map, yeah. Removal of the unit would not cause another Soviet unit to become nearly surrounded, well. You know what? It's going to do that, innit? Because if we take this guy out, if we take that guy out, then this guy can just move into here and surround that guy. And at the moment, that can't happen. We can't move from here. So there we go, it's covered. But I don't think, if that wasn't an issue, I don't think it would stop us by proximity. Well, there's certainly nothing there. I mean, the next one is if in a hex and the operational limit, removal of the unit would not cause a surrounded German unit to become unsurrounded, which is what stopped these two guys. And then the last one is the unit is not in Kharkov. So, yeah, it doesn't say that they're bound by any of the restrictions, you know, in the movement restrictions. And then if it meets all the requirements, it might be removed. However, saying that, he's not adjacent, he's not stacked with anything. Yeah, he probably wouldn't have. They need to be stacked with something or adjacent to like 2 other units or something. Right, okay, so they're not bouncing back. That's an hour and 45 minutes, Grant. Let's wrap this up. Eeks. Sorry, folks. So that was the last thing to do would be remove dispersed if there was any. There is not. And yeah, I think that's a wrap. So I'll chuck this card away. I'll sort out the units, and I'm hoping to come back for just another little bit now because I was away for ages there. So I'm going to start. What are we going to do? Well, now we're down to 3 cards in our hand. I reckon we're probably going to play engineers again. Yeah. The only other thing, could we play the core row card and drop this guy across? Maybe. It seems a bit weak that to play a card for that. I mean, it would also, I guess, build an IP on the other core rows guy along here, so it's not awful. Right, I'm going to cut this back because it's far too long, and I'll be back shortly. Okay, cheers.